The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, sorry for the delayed start, everyone. It's the weekly webinar, user group webinar, Noyantis user group. It's the 17th of December, 2018. Myself and John are here. As always, if you've got questions or queries, ideas, then please feel free. Get the mics open, and we'll cover whatever we need to cover. While waiting for questions to come in, we'll start with a couple of updates that are in progress. I don't know if anyone was here last week and they was asking about the PDF engine. Now, there was one which John had mentioned. Just trying to find it, actually. I swore I just had it a second ago. Yes, I did. Here we go. So we have a PDF wrapper, which is a viewer, and lets you view various
We're not seeing your screen yet, Andy. At least I'm not.
Oh, okay. Let's show that show screen. Okay, so which screen are you looking at?
There we go. The web browser says Sorax PDF.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so apologies again. So yes, basically, we do a PDF wrapper, a PDF viewer wrapper, and it supports a few different engines: Tracker, Adobe, a couple of Viscoms, Skysoft, I think. Different engines. And John had come across this particular engine. Its implementation was slightly different to others, which we quickly mentioned last week, but through a bit of playing about, we managed to get it wrapped. It's John's got a beta and he's got some questions today, which of course we'll cover. But if I quickly show this in action, so let's just move that out of the way. This is our example application, and I think I just switched. I think it might be manual coded. So yeah, so we've got the viewer on the screen, and we've now got a new option for the application. So these are the ones which the actual template supports. So it's the Adobe, Skysoft, Sorax, Tracker, Viscom Image, Viscom PDF, and WP Cubed. So yeah, so set the engine to that. And let's just take a look at what it does. Now, I've noticed basically on the actual commands and methods which are available, not all of the actual methods what we have in the template in the class are supported by the backend engine. So I've tried to map and play about wherever I can on it. Oh no, that's a good start. I wonder if my demo's expired.
It's a 30-day demo, so it should be all right.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, did I click the OK on that one a minute ago? Did I click the open? No, I didn't click the open. It's all manual. Yeah, sorry. This is my example of manual. So yeah, that's their viewer, and you can jump around the different pages as you would expect. You can query. So basically, the idea for anybody who's not familiar with these is you have one common interface for the methods. So get page count is get something like get total pages, and next page. We've kept it really, really simple. And the beauty of that is you get to use one common interface, and the back end works out what it needs to do to talk to the particular engine. We do the same with the media wrapper as well, the media class. So as I say, not all of the actual functions were supported. Something like the zoom in and zoom out, the control doesn't actually support it. So what we've done is we've emulated it, so it will basically allow you to zoom in and zoom out, and all it's truly doing there is actually changing the DPI behind the scenes. So which is ultimately the equivalent of zoom in, zoom out. So that is that's a new product. Not new product. It's our existing PDF viewer wrapper, but this is a new product added to that for support. John, you've got some questions. If we'll quickly jump to those in a second, and I know we've got some questions in off Jim as well regarding creating controls. So we'll have to we'll have a chat there in a second on that. The other update, which is coming along very nicely, is to do with the report control actually. And just let me just open up a particular facility here. Now this application uses a few of our controls, and its data is a SQL database using data bind. So if we go to this here, I've got no clients in. Ignore the update form. The update form is just a standard Clarion generated update form, so really ignore this. It was just something, a means for me to get data onto the actual screen. So, but the things I wanted to demonstrate here, just get a couple of records in, you can tell I've been playing about, is we've supported the data bind functionality for quite a while. What we've done now is, if you had a manually coded report control or a data bind report control or a list enhanced report control, anything that wasn't really tied to Clarion records, then you did have a bit of work to do. So, for example, you click on a row and you would then basically have to go and find the record yourself, and maybe call an update form and so on and so forth if you wanted to. With this example, you'll see, let's just take that browse clients what you're on. There's very little by the way of embed code, and it's going to be even less before the next build. The only thing we've got here is literally a call to prime up a SQL select statement and an actual build a SQL select statement. So really nothing exciting, but we're actually going to make that even easier. So to accomplish all of that screen, we're not going to need any embed code. So the new things you've got coming your way are, let's have a look on here. Go to our data source. Here we're using data binding, but that could be manually loaded or it could be a queue and so on. And they're the particular settings which we've got for the data binding. Now, I've actually made some of these opt fields so that you can actually, rather than having to specify the particular column, you can have it as a global variable. So the idea behind this particular project is we are going to have some globals primed up, which we'll be able to interrogate, call functions for, and get the selects and get the unique fields. So the idea being we'll just call a central function, pass it an equate of what screen we're in, and that will return the details back, meaning no embed code, and basically getting everything out of a global queue. So very simple. One second, I've just got somebody to get my attention. Won't be a second. Sorry about that. Yeah, so basically, so that's a small enhancement. So these could be functions and so on and so forth. And your normal driver options, connection string, we've got actually global variables and so on and so forth. Just the usual stuff. The new stuff, which really comes into its own, is now you can specify a related record. So this could be a manually loaded report control. It could be a data bind, it could be a queue, it could be really anything you like. But what we're doing here is we're marrying up the data which is in the report control via whichever loading mechanism you've used, and tying it to true table records that you'd want to be active if you was changing a record, inserting a record, and so on. So we can say, okay, this is related to a primary, the client's table as the main driving primary file, the key, and then you can have the elements of the particular key. So in this, we've only actually got an ID, and we want it to be the row ID. So it will actually give you the primed up value. So the column ID will be whatever active column it is. The row ID, which is by far the obvious one you'll be using, is a predefined value, and other can be a variable or a constant of your choosing. So if you've got multi-part keys, that's not a problem. You'll be able to prime them up and use them there. So we can say that's a related record to this report control. If you've got an update procedure you want to call, this is the update procedure we're going to call with the parameters, and if you want to return value back, you can have that. If you wanted to have a print window, like a print record, because the Clarion ABC or the Clarion Legacy does support calling a view only form or a print form, so you can have different procedures for both the print and for the view. We've not got any on this, but that gives you the idea behind those. And then to go hand in hand with that, as you put in the controls on your screen, you'll see actually under the control templates, you'll see under here, the report control, you've got new control templates, window control templates, and they are the a print button, the update buttons, and a view button. So I've actually got some insert, change, delete buttons. These are the ones that are from our template, not the ABC ones. Not the Clarion ones. We put them on. We say they are related to the report control and some options. So we want to be available on the right click. We want it to disable when there's no records. We're not bothered about hiding it, and we want to do a reset window afterwards. Probably don't need to be fair. We were to see this in action, just as we saw a second ago. So we'll go to here. We've got record 2. I'll just double click on 2. Now what we've done, without any coding of course, is it's found the record, it's called the update form, we've changed record as a global request. It's going to see if it comes back, and if it does come back and it's got okay, yeah, global responses, request completed, then it basically repopulates, it won't be a second, repopulates the report control via the data bind, and that's a new method in there now called data bind refresh, and that just re-executes the previous query, but doesn't basically open and close the connection. So it's still got its ADO connection open. It just requeries the previous the previous command, previous query. Okay, and we can see our buttons here. We've got them on the right click. If I was to go deleting some of these records and delete that one, then just as you would expect, the change in delete are disabled, and we're ready to just go adding new records in. Any questions on that particular update? There's a whole host of new derived methods for you as well in that. So quickly show you those. So this is what's coming your way very soon. Can we just excuse me 1 minute? I'm just going to have to get that. Won't be a second. Sorry about that, everybody. Typical. Somebody just leaves the office and then the phones start going. So yes, basically, we've got new derived methods to handle your interface into some of this. Should you want to be able to embed any extra code, we've taken the approach in the past when it's to do with file I/O. We've tried to stay clear of it from you. We're going to start changing that. As you can see, that's now doing the gets and the puts, or the access, try update and try insert and so on. So we've got a new set of methods coming your way, which are data underscore, usual things: delete record, fetch, insert, load. These will be called as and when they are required. But unlike in the past where you've had to put your own embed code in, this will actually start writing the code for you as well by the template. So we are going to start putting those that change of tact, and we're going to start doing that for you. Should you ever want to manipulate it, so let's say the fetch record, then you could actually go and you've got more than enough embed points to be able to go and put in your own particular conditions or coding as well. So that's where it's getting data. And you've got a new set for related records. So where you want to change the related record, you can call that with the row, or you can insert, you can print, view, delete, and so on. So you can see how these all start to marry up with the new buttons which have been created. Okay, any questions? No, all looks good. John, I should imagine they will be of interest to yourself on those.
Yeah, it looks like I need to get rid of a bunch of code now, but I can't use it
until
we get the multi-DLL.
Yes, yes, we know that, and that is, as I said last week, that is more than that's well in hand. Although actually, this last week there's been very little because I've been busy doing this stuff. This was actually needed for this actual project. Schedule it.
Yeah. It looks really nice. I'll tell you, it looks really easy to use.
The idea is it's going to be, but yes, basically, from the template and the class point of view, the only difference literally between, say, this browse and this browse is literally the select statement and of course the title, so if I can then put this SQL select and so on into a lib function, so inside the class, inside the template settings, instead of saying it's in such and such a variable, I can just have it as a function call saying get me the select for this screen and pass it an equate for the screen. Then basically you wouldn't need any embed code whatsoever in that window, or in that window they would basically be a different title and a different equate, and that would be it.
Nice.
So copying procedures would all of a sudden become very, very, very simple. So that's the idea. So you should be able to flush out quite a few screens, in next to no time. So famous last words, of course. So yeah, so that's coming your way. And as I say, in the past, we've said many times on here, when it comes to file I/O, we've always tried to stay clear, but we're just going to start writing it for you now, but not impose any standards. You are still in charge of your own dictionaries. So we'll prompt you for all the information we need. For example, on the client one, I need what table, what key, and what elements may form up that key. That gives me enough information to start doing a fetch record and an update and an insert and a prime, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So now Paul has just asked a question regarding, can this be, let's open the microphone for Paul as well. So Paul's mic is open.
Yeah.
Hi, Paul. So yes, basically, can this, and this is, John, this is actually probably a cracking question. So we're going to do some kind of way of loading the SQL commands and the queries and probably maybe stored procedures or views and so on and so forth. You've got your particular SQL tool. So could this get the information from your tool?
We're talking about Ultimate SQL, that one? Is that what we're talking about?
No, it's scripted.
Your library.
I think it's scripted, is it?
Yes, SQL scripted.
Oh, from scripted? Well, scripted is mostly for managing scripts.
Right.
So I don't know that there's really a connection between these two things.
I was just wondering if there was a way to grab the selects that would be stored in scripted and reference them here, but that was just a wish more than anything.
Yeah, well, they're all the scripts are in a separate file that you distribute out with it. So possible.
Could there be a command line to that to a tool to say, okay, go and get me again some kind of ID, but go and get me a SQL select for, or a SQL script, I should say, for such and such an ID.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
I'm just thinking.
The SSI file it's our SQL scripted file. SSI stores all the scripts that you want it to store, and it's in an encrypted TPS file. So I don't see why you couldn't grab a script out of there and then apply it if you wanted to keep them separate for some reason.
Well, do actually like the idea of what you could actually do then is, say for this application, let's just quickly run it again. So for the staff, what we could actually do there is it's going to have the select and so on. We could actually issue, if somebody wanted a different extra column, we wouldn't have to issue them a program update. We could issue them just a new SSI file, and hey presto, they are working.
Yeah, because it updates the scripts for you.
Just thought maybe something we could chat about, a way of getting the data out of the scripted file, decode it and so on, or unencrypt it and use it that way.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Yeah, okay.
Interesting idea.
Okay, so questions. Now, Jim's got a couple. So Jim, where are you? Have you got a microphone? It's open if you have.
Hello, this is Jim.
Hi, Jim. Okay, so you got creating controls for existing application. You're finding it labor intensive. Is there an easy way to create an XML for the import from an existing screen? No, not that I know of. Okay, so what's the screen? Is it a browse or is it an update form?
Well, yeah, general browse. I mean, I've got an application. We're trying to, port over an existing app that has a very dated look and feel and give it, an Office 2016 look and feel.
That's what I remember you saying, yeah.
Yeah, but there's like 150 browsers. On each browse, there's probably 6 controls. And to do that, that's, 150 browsers, times 6. So we're talking about creating through the UI 900 controls. And I know you've got your control, you do an export and import of an XML file, and I just wondered if somebody had, it shouldn't be that hard to take, say, a template and say take all the existing controls, or at least the buttons, and pop it into XML so you can allow it to import or do something like that. So I was wondering if anybody automated that process to make it a little bit less labor intensive to, adapt an existing application to your style.
Right. Not that I know of. I've not been told of such a tool, but just a tip would be, okay, if you think every screen normally has an insert change delete, maybe a print button, maybe a close button, something like that. Okay, right. And you might have you just mentioned 6, but of course you'll have some screens which have got some ad hoc ones and some screens which don't. Maybe a view only or a change only, that type of thing.
Right.
What you can do, or what I would do there, is probably create a command. We're talking about command bar to take it here, by the way, with the import and export. Yes. Okay, so I would create a command bar with the maximum permutation of buttons you can think of. So definitely include the insert, change, delete, the select, the print, the close, any kind of, a very good default, if you will. Create that, write that out as an XML. But I think you can, Oh, let's open the example. Just create a folder on the other window. Won't be a second. Okay. Okay, so we'll just close that. Okay, so basically, let's just check this is running 18.6 and we'll, yeah, it's out of date already, it's just an example. Okay. Bad example, that one. Maybe the one with actions, that type of thing. Command bar actions, that one. Okay, so this has got some buttons on already. So we've got a list of controls. And I think when we do the export and when you do the import as well, I was going to say, you can create the file, you can append to it just in case you want to keep adding and so on and so forth. You can only export just one, so you can export just one part of the overall structure, but you're doing it via category and ID. And the same, I think the import works the same way. Yeah, so you could specify a file, but only import just one category of it. So basically, and I'm just trying to think where the category comes into it, to be honest. Oh, there. So, yeah, basically you could have different categories of buttons and say, okay, these are main buttons and these are report type buttons. These are, maybe, I don't know, analysis type buttons. Create one overall command bar with a very good default permutation of all the buttons you're likely to use. And then if you're going into one screen and saying, okay, add the command bar, create a basic bar, and now I want the import, you can do import and just say, this one I want the main buttons on there and maybe the reporting buttons, or on this one I just want just the reporting. That would be a way of you basically creating, maintaining, and reusing the XML structures. Don't know if that helps at all.
Yeah, I get where you're going with that, because what actually I did was, because when we did the command bar structure, there was like 250 command bars, and it was just unwieldy to do it in the UI. But so I, created the XML. We started tinkering around with the XML in Excel and added all the things in Excel, then re-imported it. So that part seems to work pretty well, and so I'm familiar with that. And yeah, that would probably make the process go a lot easier, is what you described. But
Yeah.
I guess in my mind, it wouldn't take too much, if you're good with templates, like a half a day or something, to put a button on there saying, okay, export all the button controls or all the controls, or maybe, by classes of controls. Like, you probably don't need the string controls, whatever, but maybe you want all the buttons or checkboxes or something like that. And it would be pretty easy to, I would think, with some knowledge of the templates, to create that XML from any screen, and then you can just re-import it again, and away you go. Then it would be uniquely, it'd be uniquely described to that particular screen, not just a generic solution like you're describing.
Okay, so because I like this idea, I'll be honest with you. So we're talking, I'm just trying to think of an application. Let's open up one of my apps. Could be anything, by the way. In fact, no, we really want to know Clarion. No, I'll open one. Oh. Right. Okay. Now the browsers of this are already done, so kind of ignore that. Okay, but because you're going to go into one with a browse and a load of buttons, as you're saying, so we'll use a dummy. We'll use an update form. So let's say we was going to say, okay, we're going to have I have got a command bar on that. Bad example. But what we're saying is, let's take a screen definition. So it's got some buttons. It's got that button there. You might have. Has it got any others? That actually has. It's got insert, change, delete, but you just don't get to see them. It's already kind of been done. Probably a bad example, but you want to basically go into a screen design and say, okay, read that screen design and create me an XML of the different types of controls in there. I'd probably have it categorized so you can turn on and off. Say, don't bother exporting the checkboxes. Don't bother exporting the entries. Just do buttons, checkboxes, radios, and dump them out into XML. That type of thing. Is that what you're thinking?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. In all honesty, it wouldn't actually be that hard a thing to do. Famous last words again, but no, it wasn't, because and I'm thinking aloud here, but in the report control class, I think it's just not the class, the template. I sat down with Diego a few years ago, asking him about creating XML in template language, and he categorically said no, it can't be done. Whereas you can, it just means you've got to do a bit of work. But there's already, I don't know if it's in here or whether it's in lib, there's already the function to write out. Maybe it's not in that file. Yeah,
right, I figured one of your templates, it's got to be your template somewhere, that source code to create the XML, so it's just a matter of modifying that to read it a little different input structure, and away you go. Yeah,
I'm just trying to see, but no, we can't. But it's definitely in there. It's actually in one of the things. So it would be, I envisage it, let's just close this. I envisage it being on maybe a utility under here, export current screen, something like that. Which would technically actually fire up just a little exe, but it would have to pass to it. Oh no, it wouldn't be an exe. No, there's ways and means. I could probably just pop up a little template window asking what types of controls, and I think the good defaults would be the likes of buttons, checkboxes, and radios. Are probably the likely defaults. You're not going to output groups. You're not going to output other entries and so on and so forth. Yeah, do you know what? It's still something I will look at. It'll be the new year now, though. Unfortunately, it'll definitely be the new year before we can look at that.
Right. I mean, I might. Talk to me, because I got an immediate deadline that needs to get addressed. So I may do something that kind of maybe hacks it in and gets it done for my purposes, but it maybe not be fully documented, something for general use without a little bit of, the spritzing up a little bit. So, I mean, if I might go off and do something like this, and if I do, I'll probably share the code with you. If you do end up doing that for the rest of the world, great. You can maybe use that to jumpstart your own efforts. Okay.
Well, yeah. Yeah, fine. I absolutely no problem with that. The other thing I was going to say is I'll dig you out the actual in the template the groups that I use, and that'll give you basically currently it parses this queue and dumps out the XML, or it reads in an XML and then repopulates that queue. So really, what you're after is it's not going to be the queue that's reading it. It's just going to be a for on the screen definition.
Right, but if you already got a passing a queue, you could build that queue from the screen structure, ignoring the controls you don't care about, and then you pass in the same queue, and it probably spits out the exact XML that you want anyway.
Do you know, I probably wouldn't do it in there. I'd do it in we've got a common class. I'd do it as a method call within the class, because it'd be easier to I'll just read the screen definition via the class.
Right. Oh, yeah, that would work.
Yeah. And we can, there's already commands, there's already methods in our common class which will read the screen definition but also read out the parentage. So if you pass it the 0, the FEQ 0, it will read all the child elements of 0. If you passed it a group, the FEQ of a group, it would read you just the child elements of just one group, and it can recursive call. So it can find the the parentage of whatever it needs to, and they're already built into the common class. So because we do that for other particular functions in here, so that would be a very good start. I make no promises of getting it out before Christmas, but before the new year. But it's something that I could start to take a quick look at and see if I can at least give you a default start on it, if you will, if that helps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, no problem. Only because I know we've already got a good chunk of the tools in the common class, which is NYS Common. If I take a quick look here. In the common class, there should be, is it find child control, something like that? Yeah, it's got a child window controls queue, so on, type structure, but there should be a method there. Find child controls, and you can basically ask it to, you can pass it whatever the FEQ is of the highest level you want to go and find, and it will populate a queue and find them for you. Yeah, reads through and so on. So yes, basically that would be the obvious starting point, and it's already got access to the screen structure and so on. So yeah, I'll find a way of doing that and make it nice and easy for you to dump that out, but in a compatible format for the command bars.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. That probably put it on a pretty short track of getting something like that in there. Yeah, you just put it on a new button on that import screen, or maybe create a new tab, and away you go. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think how I call it. But look, that'd be more my problem. Don't worry. But yes, I'll see if I can make a bit of inroad that for you. Feel free to drop us an email just to see how I'm going on, and it'll either be a yay or a nay as I'm progressing on it. How's that sound?
Okay, thanks. Great.
Yeah, no problem. The other alternative you have got with the the command bars, but there's pros and cons of using it, is the designer, the command bars designer, where there is an actual application which lets you create these, but you'd be creating them it's just a replacement for the XML, except you wouldn't be able to tie that to the Clarion window. So I don't think it'll necessarily help you. If I've got a scenario where we are going to need this very shortly, and the scenario is we want to be able to ship the command bars, have them as multilingual, so it's absolutely ideal because you just ship a design file and read it in. I think it's an XCB file. Oh, yeah, so it is there. So, which is great, and it will support Unicode, so we can have foreign characters up in the command bar, and we've got Unicode covered from the commands point of view. So it's brilliant for that. The thing you do lose is the IDs. So we'll give ours internally. CodeJock doesn't know anything of your ID, like insert, change, delete. It just gives it an internal ID. We keep a mapping between the two to make it nice and easy to put your code in. Well, this would be back to basics. So the IDs are just numerical IDs, which aren't very informative. It's still doable via equates, but you've got more work involved. That would have to be a design decision of the application. Like I say, we've got a scenario where we are going to go down that path, and I'm going to try and make things a little easier on that from that point of view. But we will need the command bar designer, which CodeJock ship, to put the foreign characters in, because Clarion is not going to help us with any Unicode anytime soon. So we're going to have to basically work around it using this mechanism. Okay. Did you? No, not Paul. John, you had a question on the PDF. So should we switch back and take a look?
Yeah, let's take a look at. There's some things it's not
Not
doing.
doing.
Hopefully, we can make it do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's no problem. I found the one funny I found so far, I think, was there was two actually. I think one was on printing and one was on the find text.
Yeah, and I was trying. I want to get it to rotate too. It's got all these things here, but it doesn't seem to be doing them. So if you go ahead and just run what you were just running at the beginning of the session.
I think the manual was as good as any.
Yeah, and go ahead and load something in there.
Okay.
Okay, so the first thing that I notice is there's no scroll bar on the side. And if you use the little hand to move down to the bottom of the page, it's on mine, it wasn't going all the way to the bottom. But if I resize that page, then the scroll bars will come in and then it will show the bottom of the page. No, I just replaced the Adobe one, the Adobe example.
Okay. I'll do the same as well then. Can't see if looking. There it is.
It was strange. I could get the Adobe example to work in your demo app, but not in my program. But I think it's, yeah, so here, see, there's no scroll bar on the side, but if you change the size of the window, then the scroll bar will show up on the side.
Okay. Okay, well,
and if you make it even larger, the window doesn't resize with it.
Oh, right, yeah, the container's not...
The container's not resizing, yeah.
Now, I wonder if that's... and I said to start with, how they implement it is slightly different.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think that might be tied to that, because technically what's happening, if we go to any of the others... probably a better example. Is that one on? Yeah, that one's on. So, got that one initialized, okay, and you resize accordingly.
Yeah.
Now, what's actually there is you're looking at the OLE container, and we initialize the control in that container. So as that resizes, the container resizes accordingly, and everything, it's all good. When it comes to this Sorax one, what actually happens is, to keep it easy, I've kept the OLE container because that's what you draw on the screen, and it has to be that to make it compatible with the other engines that it supports. But what is actually happening at runtime is we're creating a region, and then we're painting it. We marry it onto a region, so the viewer is actually a Clarion region.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if I need to do anything with that. And the resizing is probably that. The OLE container is probably getting resized, but the region isn't. If that makes sense. So I can take a look at that. That's no problem.
Okay.
The scroll bar's not coming on. Is that not coming on to start with, or? We do anything? No, we're just not getting them at all, are we? Until we've done some kind of...
Yeah, those two don't work either, though.
Yeah, what are those?
Fit to height. Oh, fit to height and fit to width.
All right, let me have a quick look. Yeah, I've got to go to... Type in what they are. Got zoom in, zoom out. But you say, well, if we've done a resize and we are getting that.
Yeah. Okay, so they've got a show page, and then there's a scale of resolution. the view scale, and they have zoom, actual size, fit width, and fit page.
Where are you looking at this?
At the docs and in the PDF, their PDF documentation.
Oh, right, okay. Let's take a quick look. Where's that installed to? Is it program files?
I pulled it out of the examples that I downloaded. Do you want me to drop it in Skype? I can do that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a quick way, because I've looked at them same ones as well, but it escapes me at the moment, if you want the truth.
I know it's not in the best of places. Do
you know what? Actually, God, I thought I put them under.
Okay, I dropped it in your Skype.
Okay, cheers. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, this is what I'd looked at. Yep. So where you're seeing, you say there's a fit.
Yeah, do a search for zoom, and there's the scales. And so then I did a search for scale, and it looks like it's in the view page.
Oh, there's a fit.
Yeah, there's a fit width and a fit page. So that.
Okay. So that's view scale. So where's view scale used?
And then there's fitting. There's the zoom thing there too, where it's any positive number, I guess, to zoom in.
Constant view scale. So is that a property? Tell you what, let's crack it open a different way.
Yeah, just look for the words to just scale. Oh yeah, you can look there. I think it's part of the view page thing. What's the page?
It's got a set view mode, the handle and the mode. Just wondering whether it comes under that. Okay, set the mode into the path. What, should we try some of these commands?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's try some commands, and then we can work out what we need from that.
Look at I don't know. I don't know where that comes from.
Oh, I'm not going to be able to get to the thing. I'll soon tell you. Put it under here for now. Command.
It seems like the next page buttons worked okay.
Yeah,
all those seem to work fine.
I internally do that. Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah, no, there's already code is the in the class we have go to first. No, go to page. Okay, so yeah, go to next page. Basically, we have we keep an internal count of the current page number, and then we just issue for.
Or you just do a show page on it. I see.
Yeah, as long as it's got a handle to, be able to start the show page, and then we pass it the particular mode with the current DPI.
Yeah. So it seems like these other things should work too, but they don't seem to.
Well, let's take a a look. We'll try this set view mode. No. Okay, so as long as we've got that, then we're going to do. We'll try and rough and ready in here, so to speak. Set view mode. You pass it. You've got two handles. We want the handle of the window, so that's the viewer handle, and we want a mode, N mode, view mode. So just show people wondering what I'm doing. Got this set view mode. First parameter is the handle of the viewer, which, as I say, is this. It's actually a region, and then we've got this view mode. So basically, view mode, normal, full screen, query the view mode for the current view. Okay, so 1 or 2. Let's just try this to start with. Change my mind. View mode 1. And we'll have a 2 as well, so we can see the difference between the two.
See what it does.
You guys are getting an insight to how all the classes are written here. Actually, I use my own utility to query all these rather than have to go recompile and so on. But let's take a look.
Yeah, this seems a little different because you have to have that handle. You have to have the handle of the.
Yeah, I had to rework the class a little. To there's two handles. One's a document handle, one's a viewer handle. So it's a bit different. Okay, not really what I expected.
I'm just wondering if it's the right handle because I just don't know. Well, it must be though because your
It's the viewer
page works.
Just make sure I've got a handle. Okay, we'll query that. Yeah, that looks good to be fair. Set view mode. Closing the bracket, which caught me out a couple of times. Yep. Result 1. Now, what did that say? The identifier, the view mode used prior to the setting, or in the case of an error, 0. So we are getting 1 there. It just doesn't seem to be actually doing anything. But the help says PVM normal, activating normal view, or activating full screen view. I'm not convinced that it's doing much, I'll be honest with you. That should now come 1. Now that should say 1. And that should say 2. It gives you the last one, which is as per the docs there. It's a very strange way of doing it, I'll be honest. But okay, so view mode is crap.
I know that it's changing it though. I mean, it's changing it. Do you have to refresh the view or something? Or do you have to?
There really isn't much of a refresh. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Let's bring that into play. So, yeah, I'm not seeing much. Just view mode there, view scale. constants. Let's have a look at the scale to see if we can do anything with that. Actual size, fit width, fit page. Okay, we'll try those. And I take it that's just literally a constant. So I'm expecting to see a property in here called view scale. I'm not seeing any. I can see there's a rotate page. I don't think we support that, but we can add it. But I don't think we support it at the moment. I wonder if it's under set view layout. Okay, so there is something we can have a quick look at that, see if that helps. So I want to just have a look, get the documentation. Right, okay. Oh. Okay, so according to this, it is set view layout with the handle to the window, which is the viewer, and the layout. Okay, should we try that?
Yeah.
Oh, Clarion's crashed. That's great.
What?
Kind of hope it hasn't lost it, but
Should have recovered it.
kind of recover what it wants to recover. So, never mind. Oh, crikey, I just thought I'd... Oh, won't be a second. Sorry about that, everybody. Hello?
We're still here.
Yep, sorry about that. It's all go today. Can tell things are busy. Okay, we just want to pass it that parameter. Okay. Yep. So, come to the help. View layouts. One should give it a single page. Let's see if this actually gives us a command. Okay. 2 should give it dual page. We're getting a 49 back. And result 2. Oh, right. Do you know what? I think there is something about the repaint, isn't it?
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah. Because it seems like it's getting the commands.
Okay, so I'm wondering whether that
them.
then. Okay, that could well be. So, although that view mode really doesn't seem to be doing much. Let me just go back in. Oh, wrong one, sorry. No, just try to see if we got the scroll bars appear.
Huh.
Okay, well, we can see if we can do our own repaint on that. That's no problem. So I want that should be a single page.
Yeah.
And 4 should be continuous. Whoa. I'm not really sure about that one. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not sure about the 4. And show gap.
Well, that's kind of is that the default though, pretty much? The continuous? When you first load it, it's just keeps going, right? Or maybe.
Don't know. Continuous display horizontal page gaps, which is 10. So I take it that's your page gap there. Now, do we do? Is it 32? Not sure on that one. Okay, but so we've got some kind of repaint. Let's have a look at what we can do for that. Help ourselves a little.
Almost.
We're redrawing. That's an API call, and you pass it the raw handle of a control. Oh, crikey. Actually, no. Is it the handle, or is it, yeah. Won't be a second. This will be very crude, so I don't know if it'll work, but do you know I never use that hide? I always use prop. I don't know why I did that. Something as simple as that, but kind of. I think the 4. I don't think that's the best painted. I'll be honest. So okay, so we can do a redraw, which is good. So won't be a second. Let's just do that. Oh, crikey. Terrible. Loads of code here. Right. Oh, do you know what? I don't think I actually need to do this. I think our standard redraw would have done that for us. Our standard redraw already had the code in there.
Huh.
That's very good. Okay, that helps us a little, I suppose. Do we have any methods for that in the PDF to do with draw mode? Can't actually see that. Show view panes, no. What was the other one she said, John? Was it rotate or was it scale?
Yeah, right. Rotate page. I know I need to have that because people were specifically wanting to be able to rotate, which just makes sense. I mean, yeah, a lot of times you get pages that are sideways.
Okay, so
And then the fit width and fit height.
yeah. How are we doing? Oh, 20 past, okay. Procedure. It's just going to be rotate the rotate page. That's easy enough. It's just basically rotation.
Yeah.
That okay? I'll pass
Yeah,
you.
just pass it as 0, 90, 180, 270.
I think I'll do rotate page. So it'd be up to you to load the page first, in fairness.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, got that. Can't type while everyone's watching.
I can't type when people are not watching. You can watch, you cannot watch, doesn't matter. It's all the same for me.
Okay, so I will need to ensure we've got that. Obviously, there's no commands, so I will actually have a look if the others have got this. Handle of the window, so that's our viewer handle, so that's good. That would be rotate page, the handle of the window, comma, okay. Whether we need a redraw on that is another question. So let's have a quick look at that. Very crude, but all these will work, or the idea is they will work. And then we'll tidy it all up and so on and so forth. Won't be today, but I'll do that in the morning for you, first thing. Okay. I mean, the library actually seems an alright library. It's just different on how it's implemented.
Yeah, it seems like it does a lot of good things.
Okay, we'll try that. But we're not going to put a repaint on it.
Okay.
Did I not save it? No. Have we still got any attendees? Is everyone gone?
Oh, there's still people here.
Okay. Oh, not that one. Try 90 degrees.
Well, that went different.
Whoa, okay. It's not light. Oh, okay. Well, I'm guessing that rotate's not work though. Takes two handles. The rotate. Sorry, it takes two parameters. The handle
Rotate
and
does,
the.
yeah, right. And the number.
So I really don't see anything wrong with that. And to be fair, I don't see anything wrong with that command. Does it return you an error? No. I sometimes do prefer to work in this. It's easier. Oh, we've got rotate page and rotate view.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
PDF page. Let's rotate view.
Well, I'm just wondering whether that wants a different handle. Rotate page takes a different set of parameters than rotate view. So that's why that's not working. That's rotate view. Okay. I wish they'd made their mind up.
I don't see rotate view in the docs anywhere.
No, but it's there. That's why I prefer to use this. This is, you're looking at the actual raw OCX.
Yeah. Huh.
Okay, that's better for the rotate view. And the rotate page does want a different parameter, and it's the page number, which we should have as
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's very different from their docs.
current page, is it? Yeah. Okay, let's try that. At least I'm consistent. I forgot to do that before. Okay, so we'll have a 90 degree. We'll just try the view to start with. Oh yeah, that was good.
Oh, look at that. Yes.
270 should flip that. Could we do? Doubt it. But does it take any? Oh, it's done something.
Yeah, it did. Different.
I'm not quite convinced it wanted to do that.
Oh, no, it didn't do it. What did it do?
Yeah,
I mean, it's got, that's the watermark, right? Or
yeah.
is it supposed Oh, it's rotating the watermark. That's interesting.
So, but if we put it back to 0. Okay, now let's do the page. 90 degrees, the page. Now that will have, if you was to do an export of that, that would have actually rotated the page internally. Whereas one's view only and one's page. Well, you've got both. Oh, that's page 2, and that's page 1. Ah.
Oh yeah, you just rotated the one page, didn't you?
Yeah. Now, if we open that and just do the view, I expect both pages. And it does.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because you're just rotating the viewer engine, if you will. Okay, 1 down, but 2 down actually, technically.
So the fit to page and the fit width and fit height.
Now I can see the option. I'm just not seeing that on any of this. So in the documentation, in what context is it used? Oh no. 1 second.
There it is.
Don't know if I've ever told you guys when I do the webinars, these offices we moved into are brilliant, but everything's on sensors. You don't actually have light switches. You can't turn a light on and off if you wanted to. And every so often it goes out. So I'm sat in the dark and I have to keep waving like an idiot.
Okay, so here's what you need to get: one of those birds that tips down and drinks the water out of the cup, and put it in front of the sensor, and then it will always be moving. You just have to keep the water filled up.
I shall take a look on Amazon. So it's a view scale, which kind of makes sense. In what context are they using it? Show page, scale, no, of resolution, DPI. No, I'm already tricking it with that. So we've got some constants, which are them, but I'm not seeing where they're used. Yeah, I'm not seeing where they're used, which is quite annoying.
Yes, because they're there.
Anything in here? We're making use of that. Auto scroll. Path, not seeing that.
Auto scroll, launching or stopping automatic scroll. So I guess you click it, then it automatically scrolls down until it stops.
That's quite nice. If only it would actually do what we want. Get page text. That's quite nice.
Huh.
Set view layout, set view mode. Oh, we did both of those, didn't we? Yeah. And then show page. So I'm not seeing anywhere.
That's just the DPI. That's
and that's what we're actually using when we zoom in. All I'm doing is actually just checking the current DPI and changing it, incrementing it by 10 at a time, or decreasing it by 10 at a time.
until it gets to what?
Well, minimum 10, but
Yeah.
maximum, I'm not putting any max on it. I mean, I can put maxes on there, but that really.
Yeah, so actual size is -1, then there's -2, and there's -3. But yeah, where do they go?
just worry about that. It is going to be the container which is the problem there on the other. That's no problem. Okay.
They have examples. Maybe I can look through the example. And
if you want to take
see
a
what
quick
they're
look at that,
doing.
I'm kind of running out of time because I've got to actually got to drive up north tonight to a family present switchover, like you do. Nothing like last minute. So if you want to take a quick look at that and drop me a message, and I'll tidy these things up tomorrow and send you another updated zip across. Anybody else who's interested in this, of recording and so on, then hopefully we'll tidy these little things up, and then there'll be a release. I'm not sure it'll be before Christmas, but we'll get a release out sooner rather than later.
Awesome. Add check printing to your list.
Yeah.
Just check to see if that works. I mean, you don't have to do it now, but
No, I had actually taken a look at some of this. Do page 1 to 2, and we've got two methods in there, print and print direct. I'm not actually sure I got anything out of it, but I didn't know if it was towards the end of when I was doing the dev, so I wasn't overly concerned at that moment in time.
Okay, well, make good progress. I mean, you almost got it all the way there.
Yeah, we'll start the resize. The resize, I suspect, is the container, not being truly married up, and maybe issue a review on redraw on that as well. But yes, I am going to have to draw it to a close tonight because I need to be
Cool.
on the road. So I shall until now it's Christmas Eve. I don't know our plans for next week. I don't want to let people down, but I don't know if we've got any family plans on the Monday with being Christmas Eve and being quite late. So I will check those plans, and I will put a posting. John, I'll let you know, but I will also put a posting on the Skype chat of the actual plans for the webinars and so on.
Okay.
So I
Sounds
should have checked before today, but it's just been one of those days where we just too rushed, if you want the truth. Hopefully, still here next week. So it's webinar next week. If not, then obviously I want to wish everybody who celebrates the festive season a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. But I still like to do another webinar before the end of the year anyway. But just in case, I always at least say it now before we miss out on it. Okay,
Very nice. Thank you.
John, you want to take a quick look at those docs? You don't particularly
I
need
will.
that class tonight. We know we've got the rotates working. It'd be more this scale.
No.
And we can see
I don't need them
context
today.
used. Then we can, if we can find the context, then we can put them in.
Very good.
Cool. Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks everybody. I'll see you soon. Cheers.
Okay. Bye. Bye, everyone.